James Gunn and DC Studios have released an hour-long documentary on the making of Superman called Adventures in Making Superman, and it is free to watch. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you like Superman, the DCU, and all things movie related, hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about it here on the channel all the time. I've been talking about Superman, about DC, and the Batman 2, and the Batman and Penguin, and all things superhero related, and it's so much fun. And now things are really picking up in DC. Like, we got Creature Commandos last winter, and we're like, all right, blood, the blood is circulating. We're good, we're getting on. Then we waited 6 months, and Superman's here. Superman is a success. James Gunn says it's a financial success. Other people like to differ. I'm not a mathematician. I really also don't give a flying fadoo because none of that matters to me. I don't make a dime off of its success or a dime off of its failure. So good for you. But the one thing that's good, if it is a success, is that means you get more and more superhero movies in the DC world, and we don't get another reboot right away. Unless you didn't like the movie, then, you're probably hoping for that. But right now, we're not going to get that. I wanted to talk a little bit about this documentary. This documentary is an hour long, absolutely free to watch. Click the link. You watch it. It's right there, and it's beautifully shot. And you get behind the scenes access like you wouldn't believe, with interviews and stuff like that. It's a documentary at the end of the day, but it's fantastic. I was unbelievably shocked when I watched this thing. But one thing that sticks out is around the 216, 217, to 218 mark of the documentary is there's a little storyboard there. And the storyboard has Supergirl, Superman, Crypto, and what appears to be Brainiac. And people are starting to flock and saying, hey, there's Brainiac. And other people saying, no, that's not Brainiac. And everyone's coming up with ideas. And no one knows. And James Gunn has been tight-lipped on this and has, as of this recording, hasn't said anything. I'm sure he's piped up online since then, or he will. Or it was done on purpose. He's been teasing little things here and there. We got a tease of Martian Manhunter. I might do a video on that because Martian Manhunter might be coming, and it might be with a familiar face as well. But Brainiac is someone that it was kind of teased a little while ago. I believe it was Humberto Gonzalez who dropped a little tease for Brainiac with an eye emoji. This is a long time ago, if my memory serves. And it was like, oh, so we're getting Brainiac, and Brainiac, of course, is not in Superman, right? Brainiac is not in Superman, but we know that there's Superman, Supergirl, Lanterns, and Peacemaker season 2. And James Gunn has said that there's going to be something that connects all of these together that's going to bridge this gap of things that, what is this big threat? Is there going to be one gigantic threat? You start to think, right? And Brainiac kind of starts to make sense as the first threat to bring all of these, your first group, your Avengers group together, and you can throw little tidbits here and there. That also being said, I just did a video on the Superman Saga. Perhaps Brainiac makes an appearance or is a villain in the next Superman film, the Superman family film, whatever that is, Superman Saga film, whatever that is. Maybe Brainiac is in that. Maybe Brainiac is in that the way Thanos is in Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe you start to sprinkle him in like that, and you're like, hey, he's here, but he's not all the way here, but here he is. He's not your villain of this, but he's overseeing things. He is a villain. He's a threat out there. And then more of Brainiac comes to play because it makes sense connecting all these together. Now, I think we're going to learn more and more in Peacemaker season 2 of what is going on and what's going to unite all of these fronts together. And it seems, the multi-universe thing might be going by the wayside. It might not, but we're going to learn a lot more, and it's really exciting to see it. Because Brainiac's been around since 1958. Brainiac, this is a character who's been around, who's never really... He's never been featured in a movie. He was in Smallville and on Krypton, and he's been in the animated stuff, but he hasn't been at the forefront. I would bet you, my parents who grew up with Superman, with the Max Fleischer Superman and Christopher Reeve Superman, and they had all these Supermen, I would bet you that I could mention Brainiac to them, and they would have no idea who he is. Now, obviously, they're not the demographic that they're going for with any of these projects, but I'm just using that as an example that Brainiac, while he is comic well known to fans and Superman fans and stuff like that, he's not Lex Luthor. He's not Joker. He's not Penguin. He's not Green Goblin. He's not, he hasn't reached that plateau. And it's a character that is probably more so than most deserving to be there. Imagine James Gunn introducing Brainiac to the DC universe, not just as Superman's deadliest alien enemy, but as a ruthless collector of worlds with an obsession for bottled cities. In a DC movie, Brainiac's arrival could reveal the legendary lost Kryptonian city of Kandor, trapped aboard his massive skull-shaped ship. For Superman, it's a personal mission to save his people. For Supergirl, it's a chance to confront a dark chapter from her past, a time when Brainiac's conquest shattered her world. And then there's Crypto the Superdog, the unpredictable hero whose super speed, loyalty, and knack for chewing on high-tech alien weaponry might be the one thing Brainiac's flawless calculations never saw coming. What his goal would be and how they could totally use it to combine all of these with the Lantern Corps and all that. It would make so much sense for him. And he is such a unique threat in that he's psychological. He's obviously collecting all the knowledge in the known universes, taking cities and shrinking them. Like this is a threat that is both cerebral with the knowledge and wanting knowledge and all of that, but also spectacular and something that would make a great box office fodder movie, right? Like this is like you could have like shrinking cities, encasing them, things like that, but also using the knowledge, understanding the knowledge, manipulating the worlds into giving you what you want. There's so much that you could do with this character that can make it compelling. Like Brainiac done well should be possibly the greatest comic book villain we've gotten on screen. Could be again. I mean, everyone's like, "Wow, Heath Ledger's Joker." I mean, they're so vastly different that it's hard to compare the two. You can't compare apples and oranges, but we're gonna have to because they're comic movies, and that's what we do. But it's exciting. Like he drops these little hints in it, and he wants you to see that, and he wants like it's not there by accident. This is a documentary that went through hours of shooting, obviously, but hours and hours of editing and approvals. Obviously, James Gunn, Peter Safran, like obviously they looked at this footage and they had to approve it. They know what they're doing. They want a fan reaction to what they're showing. So have they accidentally, on purpose, leaked that Brainiac is coming up in the next movie? Have they done that? Or have they accidentally leaked that on purpose, leaked that Brainiac is going to be showing up at some point down the road, that Brainiac is going to be in the first arc of Gods and Monsters, that Brainiac is the big bad of Gods and Monsters? Does Brainiac fit into that genre, into that trope of Gods and Monsters? And now you're going to have Wonder Woman in there as well, who obviously fits into the Gods category, but they're changing things up. So does Wonder Woman still work in this story with Brainiac, or does she kind of get interwoven in another part of it and comes up from there? There's too much to really know right now, so it's all speculatory, of course, which is the fun of it. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Brainiac the foe. Do you want to see Brainiac on film? Do you want to see Brainiac in this iteration? Brainiac was massive in the Silver Age of comics, and I think that's what James Gunn is going to pull a lot from. So he could have a lot of fun, especially if he's wandering around with Coco. That would that would be very James Gunn, more James Gunn than Crypto possibly. I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen there, but I am excited for the prospect of Brainiac. I've been excited. I thought Brainiac, as soon as James Gunn was announced, I thought Brainiac. I was like, oh, Brainiac, we're finally going to get a Brainiac. I think it's time that this bad man, cyborg, android, humanoid thing gets his due. I want to see the green. But who would you get to play Brainiac? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, the like button, and until next time, may you be the master of your own universe.